another best practice that you can implement in your DC is something called task interleaving. And I'll be very candid at this point. Task interleaving is not something for the faint-hearted, okay? Because it's complicated. It adds a lot of value, but it takes some time to get really good handle on making it work perfectly. So you don't want to if you're just implementing a brand new WMS and you're operationally you have a lot of things that you need to take care. This wouldn't be a good time to implement task interleaving. First, you want to take care of all the operational things. Make sure get your DC working pretty smoothly, right? And task interleaving could be a phase 2 or phase 3 that can be implemented at a later point of time to gain even more efficiencies on top of what you already got with this new system. But still good idea to learn about task interleaving, because hey, there is this option out there which would optimize labor even in a much better fashion. So a good WMS, a very good WMS would create tasks for all the work that needs to be done in a warehouse. It could be a put away task, that's moving pallets from the receiving docks to the actual locations where they need to be stored. It could be replenishment tasks, moving pallets or moving product from the reserve area to active location where they are replenished in the bin locations, right? It could be cycle count task. It's for the cycle counter, so they on a daily basis they count the locations and make sure all these locations are counted systemically, right? It could be a pull task for replenishment, or pull task for a order fulfillment scenario, or it could be a pick task, batch picking task where the picker has to walk through from location 1 to location 100 picking product for orders. And the beauty of the task interleaving is you can optimize labor such that, for example, a put away user can take the pallet from the receiving location, go to the destination location where he has to drop off the pallet, and then when he's coming back empty, right, when he is coming back without doing any task, he could potentially pick another pallet and execute a replenishment task. So when he's coming back, he's not coming back empty, right? Because you don't want him doing movements without doing any work. That's called unproductive labor. You don't want him doing any unproductive work without moving product or without getting something done. So with task interleaving, you can interleave that nicely. So you can interleave one task on top of another, assuming, of course, there are always assumptions, right? Assuming that his equipment, whatever he's using, can do the same work, and he has access to the area, whether it's from a reserve to the reserve area, and there's no other user that's coming in his way and things like that, right? All these constraints will have to be taken into account. So that gives, from a productivity perspective, that not only makes the user very productive because he's not doing any unproductive labor, and also from a work perspective, the user is immediately assigned work, and there could be specific task groups that could be set up based on the equipment that he is in. And work group, the warehouse, the entire distribution center could be divided in the form of work groups and work areas. So the user can be confined to only certain area. Again, you also want to think about, you don't want to send the user from one end of the DC to the other end of the DC. Imagine if your DC is 1 million square feet plus, and if the user is going back and forth and he is wasting a lot of time on travel. You don't want to waste a lot of time on travel, because it's all about keeping your labor very productive, right? And labor is one of the important costs in running a distribution center. So you want to keep that labor cost minimum. That means you have to keep all these people highly productive and fully occupied and doing their job, and on top of whatever they need to get done. So task interleaving helps with all that. And you could interleave something else. You could interleave a pull task with a put away task, because in the put away task he could still take the pallet and then drop it off in the reserve location, and then take the pull that pallet from a reserve location and take it into the staging location and drop it off at the staging location, and then go back to the receiving, and then again keep doing this in cycle. So at the end of the day his labor is very well utilized, and he doesn't waste any time, right? Travel time, keep the travel time also less, and the entire distribution center will have to be grouped into different work groups and work areas, and then different task groups will have to be assigned depending on the type of work he's doing, or depending on the type of the equipment that he's using, things like that. And then you could even define, XY coordinates, so you can define proximity. Hey, after doing work in this work group, work area, I'm eligible to go to the next one, or this side, things like that. So that's another cool capability that can be implemented in a distribution center. It's called task interleaving, and that can make things very efficient in terms of making use of the labor effective. So you can get the best out of these workers that are, especially on the equipment. They cost more because they have to be licensed operators. So task interleaving is something that would help with productivity gains. Something to think about. That's another best.